Here, I'll be walking you through coding problem 3.3.3. For this exercise, we need to use a loop to find the sum of all the numbers between 0 and mystery int, including the bounds. That means if mystery int is 7, we need to add the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 together. However, there's a twist. Mystery int might be negative. So if mystery int was -4, we would add the numbers -4, -3, -2, -1, and 0 together. Now, the instructions state that we may use either a for loop or a while loop to solve this problem. However, they ultimately recommend using a while loop. So that's what we will use. Now, to start the problem off, we're going to solve the easy case, and that being mystery int is a positive number. And then we'll tackle the case when mystery int is a negative number. Now, to start this problem off, we're going to have our while loop. Now, if you guys remember, for our while loops, we need to have a Boolean condition upon which the while loop will run until that Boolean condition becomes false. So we're adding the numbers from 0 all the way up until whatever mystery int is. So to me, it looks like if we had the condition being mystery int, as long as mystery int is bigger than 0, and including 0 because we want to add 0, then we want the while loop to be executed. Since mystery int is 7, this will work for the positive numbers, and so now we just need to guarantee that mystery int eventually becomes less than 0. Otherwise, that will result in an infinite loop, and that would not be good for us. So in order to do so, I want to subtract 1 from mystery int. Mystery int. So here, I'm simply just subtracting 1 from whatever the value of mystery int is. And what this does is this ensures that mystery int will eventually become less than 0. Now, I'm going to want to print mystery int. Here, we'll see what the value of mystery int becomes every single time. As you guys can see, it printed 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and -1. So that seems almost right, except it doesn't include 7, and it goes all the way past 0. So the reason that is because we have the print statement after we change mystery int. Rather, what we would want to do instead is we want to have the print statement before mystery int is changed, so that the numbers printed for mystery int are 0 through 7. And voila, we have 0 through 7. So now we need to go about calculating the sum of the numbers. In order to do so, we're going to want to have a variable to keep track of the sum. So let's define that. Here we have total, and we're going to start it off at 0 because it needs a number, right? And then we're going to want to add whatever the value of mystery int is to the total that we have. So if we do it like this, we'll see that, so we have total starts out at 0, and then we add whatever the value of mystery int is. So now I'm going to print a blank line, and then I'm going to print out the total at the end. And as you can see, 0 printed out. Okay, that is not exactly what we want. So what is going on here? The issue is that we are defining total to be inside of our while loop. And so what's going on is we execute the while loop one time for 7. Total is equal to 0. We print 7. And then total is equal to whatever total is. So 0 plus 7 for mystery int. And then we subtract mystery int. And then the while loop goes right back to the top, and then it does the check, is mystery int, which is 6 now, greater than 0? It is, and then it executes the loop again. But as we can see, we define total to be 0 again. So what we're essentially doing is we're overwriting the total, and we're not actually keeping track of the actual total of the number that we want. So instead, we're going to want to define total to be outside of the while loop. So if we do it like so, you'll see total, we defined it outside the while loop, and then we didn't change anything else. And now, when we run this will actually print the actual sum of the numbers from 0 all the way up to mystery int. We solved for the positive case, but now we have to solve for the negative case. So how can we do that? First things first is we're probably going to want to change the while loop condition. That is because if mystery int starts out as a negative number, this while loop is never going to run, right? So if we changed it to be mystery int is less than 0, let's change mystery int to be -4, and let's see if this will run. As you can see, the run report is taking a while to run, and that's because, so while we change the condition to be less than 0, we also need to change this condition here to add 1 instead, so that we can reach the terminating condition of mystery int being greater than 0. So then we hit run again, and we'll see that this time it does work for negative numbers. As you can see, it added the numbers -4, -3, -2, -1, and 0 together. Now we need to figure out some way to actually combine the two solutions that we have. So what we can do is, instead of having a greater than or equal to, we're just going to negate whenever mystery int is not equal to 0. So what I mean by this is, as long as mystery int is not 0, we want the while loop to continue to execute. And then here we're going to continue to add the total. This line is totally fine. But then instead of simply adding or subtracting 1, we need to do a check. So here, if mystery int is greater than 0, what we're going to want to do is have mystery int be subtracted by 1. This way, mystery int will eventually become 0. Otherwise, if mystery int is less than 0, we're going to want to add 1 so that mystery int eventually becomes 0. Now, if we execute this, we'll see that it works for either negative or positive numbers. So it works for -10, and then I'm going to change mystery int to be 7, and then we'll see that it works for 7 as well. And voila! So now I simply remove the extra print statements, and then I submit this code, we will see that we can find the sum for all the numbers between 0 and mystery int, regardless of if it's a positive or negative number. And well done.